future Las Vegas locals on selling and investing in real estate. You're probably asking yourself, educate. Yes, there's a surprising amount of adults that when it comes to real estate, don't know the right questions to ask, don't know where to start, and think they need a lot of cash to buy a house in Nevada, which simply isn't true. So Josh has decided to make it his responsibility to teach his clients what they need to know, and equally important, what they need to ask to help ensure making their home ownership dreams a true reality. So make sure you call or text Joshua Lafond today at 702-813-0533. This has been another paid advertisement from Joshua Lafond with Simply Vegas Real Estate. Make sure you give him a call, 702-813-0533.
You must be kicking yourself for not walking out when you could. Bad judgment. But don't you worry, son. It will all be over soon.
Anthony, give me a boy's name that starts with the letter H. Jose.
Bobby! It's me! Your daddy, Roberto!
Daddy?
Occasionally, you may hear it pronounced as Joao. It depends.
It's called Rex Kwando.
Look at me now. How far we go back? Elementary, jump rope, hide and go seek, pity pat, red light, green light, red light, green light.
Hello? You play to win the game.
You are tuned in to Straight Bet Sports on the Gorilla Cross Radio Network.
That's right, baby. Jose V, Straight Bet Sports, coming to you live from downtown Las Vegas, Nevada. We are coming to you live on the Gorilla Cross Radio Network. We greatly appreciate you guys joining us here on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. The weather's great. It's not that hot anymore in Las Vegas. It's starting to cool down, so I'm very happy. If you guys are joining us tonight, we greatly appreciate you. Make sure you do us a favor, as I ask you to do every single Wednesday night. Press that like button, press that share button, drop a comment. Let everyone know what it is that you are enjoying tonight and what you are watching. With that being said, guys, we are live on GorillaCross.com, the Gorilla Cross app on all platforms. What I mean by that, Google Play Store, Apple Play Store. Download it today. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. There's a lot more great content on there aside from our show. And we are live on all social media platforms on the Gorilla Cross page, on Twitter, GorillaCross.com, Facebook, Gorilla Cross, and of course, YouTube as well for all you YouTubers out there that like to watch it. And it's being shared on my page, Ian's page, and everyone else's page that's on the show tonight. So make sure you check us out on all things social media. Straight Bet Sports with Jose V. You can find us on YouTube, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you like to listen or watch your podcast. We are definitely on there. And of course, none other than the Gorilla Cross Studios, GorillaCross.com. We greatly appreciate what Quan does for us every single week and just what he does for the show in general. This is a great studio. If you guys have not checked it out, trust me, you must do so tonight. But without further ado, let me go ahead and welcome in my co-host of the night. Ian, what's good, my man? How you doing tonight?
Doing good. How are you guys doing?
You ready or what?
Absolutely. Let's get this show started.
Don't be looking down, though. I told you already. We got to make sure that you're going to talk, you're going to have a good time, you're going to chill out today, right?
Yeah.
All right. You did good the first time, but we got your feet wet, and we're going to keep
Better
it going.
this
But
time. Absolutely.
We got a great show on tap tonight, man. We got a Raider ticket raffle giveaway that we're doing. We sponsored up with our show sponsor, Joshua Lafond from Simply Vegas Real Estate of the Lafond Group. He's in studio tonight. We're going to have him on camera here shortly. He's going to chop it up with us and let us know, for all you Raider fans or just NFL football fans that live here in Las Vegas, or maybe you live in the surrounding areas, Arizona, California, somewhere close to us, and you're coming into town on November 21st, the Cincinnati Bengals will be in town playing the Las Vegas Raiders at beautiful Allegiant Stadium. If you want a chance to win some tickets, then trust me, you want to stay tuned into tonight's show because we got great stuff, great details. And not only that, it's helping out local kids, local high schools here in Las Vegas, which is awesome. If you guys know Josh, you've been following him for a long time. He's been doing that for a while now. He sponsored my daughter's school, Shadow Ridge, a while back. It's amazing what he's doing in the community. So it's awesome. And the fact that we have him here on our show and that he's also a part of our show, a huge part of our show, we greatly appreciate him. But without further ado, Joshua, let's go ahead and bring you on, my man. How are you doing tonight? Hopefully you're doing great. And we're happy to have you in studio once again.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Just been working, trying to get this raffle going and, go from there. So
Josh, you're a season ticket holder.
Yep.
You've been doing a lot in the community.
Yep.
Before we get into the details of the raffle and everything that you're doing with the giveaway, talk a little bit about how you came up with this idea and why you decided to move forward something like this, knowing that you're a season ticket holder. You can just enjoy these games on your own and not have to do that. Why did you go this route?
So it actually happened a couple weeks ago, like 2-3 weeks ago. I went to a school to do like talk to like a class about real estate and all this other things, and then they gave me a tour of the whole school, and then they took me into just this room where they had like people were donating clothes, donating food for the weekend,
Okay.
For the children. And it got to me. I was like, oh wow, like I didn't know that, these schools need this stuff. And I'm like, what can I do to help you guys out? They're like, oh, just bring donations, this and that. So I'm selling the tickets and everything this whole season. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just set aside one pair of tickets near a holiday weekend, which is perfect with the Bengals.
Yep.
And that way, if, a family wins it or whoever wins it, they get to get the tickets on that Sunday right before Thanksgiving. And then that way they can, enjoy their Thanksgiving early. And then also all the proceeds will go to, what's called is CIS, which is Community in Schools.
Okay.
Which is all of Las Vegas. So it's all the community schools. So it could be high schools, middle schools, elementaries. I did a donation back last year with Thanksgiving. So I bought a whole dinner for, it was about, I think, 5 or 6 families.
What? Really?
Yeah, like turkeys and everything, like a
That's awesome.
whole yeah, and I actually delivered it to the families, and that's what I like about that that charity is that I could actually take something and give it to the people rather than going to like Goodwill and just dropping it off and all right, see you.
Deuces.
Exactly, and I actually get to see the enjoyment, the they're just like blown away, like wow, someone is actually doing this for me, kind of thing. So it's a great feeling for me, and I like to just give back to the community, just because the community always is always there for me, and I want to give back, with money and then also with knowledge, especially to the kids, because a lot of these kids, me growing up in Vegas, I didn't know anything about real estate. I barely started learning when I was like 22, 23 about real estate, and I'm like wait, like there's more. This is where you can get actually financial freedom, is start a real estate, and they don't teach you that anywhere in school. So that's what I want to basically preach, that word of like, hey, like you don't have to go buy millions of properties. You can have 1 or 2 that pay for some of your assets or some of your liabilities or anything like that. So
you have a kid on the way too, right?
No. He's
or you already had a baby.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My social media is not up to date.
But he is turning 10 months in a week.
Congratulations.
There you
go. Enjoy it now.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, you have kids too, right? You have a kid too, right?
He's almost 3.
There you go. So my question for you though, now that you're doing this, does this also kind of pave the way for your son? Meaning the type of leadership that you're setting up for him to see when he gets older, the things that you're doing with schools, he's eventually going to be in school. Is this something that you want to pass on to your son once he's old enough to know what it is that you're currently doing?
Yeah, so I also have a 7-year-old. He actually just turned 7 a couple weeks ago. And then I have he turned 10 months. The 7-year-old, we actually took last year. We took him out of school, and was like, hey, we're going to go to these families and give them, food. So here, like we gave him a bag, helped it to the door. We knocked on the door. And what he saw and the enjoyment, he was kind of like the first few houses, he was confused. So I was just trying to explain it to him, and like, because he was six years old at that time, and he comprehends pretty well, but still at 6 years old, I had to, explain to him like, hey, this is the way, this is the way, way people are, like some people can't afford it, this and that. So, this is what we're going to do. So definitely, like, I want to teach that to my kids and basically break that cycle in my family. Because I didn't come from a family that came from money, nothing. Like we came from nothing, and I came from nothing. And, I want to show that to my kids and then basically start that cycle.
Okay.
So
interesting. Good stuff, man. I'm glad that you're doing it though.
Yeah.
Because there's not that many people around town that may have a business or a small business or any type of business where they're okay financially, that they're willing to give back a little bit. I understand the pandemic hit a lot of us harder than others. I totally understand that. But the fact that you've continued through the pandemic, before, after, and you're not stopping is awesome. I love that. I commend you for that. And it's amazing because if you guys know, and we're going to talk about the raffle here shortly, he's not keeping a dime of this, right? Am I correct? You're not. Josh is not keeping a dime of this money. So for you guys that don't know about this, that are interested in going to a Raider game, it's the best thing that you can do. Think about it. Raider games are expensive. You can buy 10 raffle tickets, and it's the pair of tickets, right? Right, Josh?
Pair of tickets, yeah. Pair of tickets, section 412, which is right in the center, but that's on the away side, and it's seats, or it's row 12, seats 17 and 18. So you're directly like in
dead
the
center in the 50-yard line.
50-yard line. And if you look on the map, you're like, oh, 412. I've been there for the soccer game.
Yep.
I've been there, one other game, and when I got there, I was like, when I bought the tickets, I was like, and then when I saw it, I'm like, oh wow, this is perfect view, especially for soccer, because soccer, they kick the ball back and forth, and like if I was on the like 100 or 200, like my neck would be hurting at the end of the night. But there, I was just and at the I was just like saw it all. It's a great view.
So talk a little more about the details on how people can find out about the raffle. Where can they go? What's the website? Is there a PayPal? Are you doing a GoFundMe? How can people donate? Because technically it's a donation, right?
It is a donation.
It's a donation. Where can people donate to get their raffle tickets, and what type of details do they need to know about the tickets in general?
So it's basically you're buying raffle tickets. I'm going to be the one that's donating all the money.
And no limit, right? Let me get that correct.
No limit. So
people can buy as many raffle tickets as they want.
Yeah. If you want to, do, so it's $10 per raffle, and it's on it's PayPal that I'm accepting the money.
Okay.
It's on my Instagram, on my link. So if you go to my Instagram and then click the link, the PayPal is right there. So you just pay, if you want to do, $10, that's one raffle ticket.
Okay.
If you want to do 100, that's 10, so on and so forth. So you could buy as many as you want, and I encourage people to do that. Yes, to win the tickets, but then also so that way I can raise as much money as I can to give back to the community.
And then that one raffle ticket is getting them in for the pair of tickets. It's not one raffle ticket for one ticket.
Pair tickets.
It's the pair of tickets for the one raffle ticket.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's 10, and you might get lucky and just put $10 in and win pair of tickets.
Exactly.
And that's to the the Bengals and Raiders, and the Bengals are off to a great start.
Yeah, 2-1.
The Raiders are off to a good start. So that's gonna be a good
really
game. It's gonna be a good game. It would.
Especially around that time of the season, November, things are heating up. We're midway through. Playoff implications are starting to come around the corner, and pictures are there. So I think it's going to be a great game, man. You got Joey Burrow coming into town, right? Second year with Jamar Chase, which I benched him last week, which I don't know why the hell I did that. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but they're looking good. Cincinnati is looking good. The Raiders are 3-0, which we're going to talk about that later, Ian, about some of these 3-0 teams. Are they legit? Which the Raiders have beaten winning teams with winning records. Let's get that correct. Even though they're 3-0, might not be a fluke here, but November 21st, you said it.
Yeah.
Cincinnati Bengals coming into town. If you want to grab these tickets, guys, $10 gets you in. You cannot beat this. If you guys are watching on Facebook and you're watching on Twitter, on any of our social media platforms, trust me, check out my page, check out the Straight Bet Sports page, Ian's page, Josh's page. We're all going to post it on there. We're all going to have the link. We're going to post it daily. We're going to make sure that you guys understand what is at stake here. Not only do you get to go to an NFL professional football game in the brand new luxurious, because I've been there, Allegiant Stadium. It is beautiful. Yeah. No bad talk to SoFi Stadium. Haven't been there yet. I want to check that out. But Allegiant right now is top notch. You get to see a young and up and rising quarterback in Joey Burrow, which just won the national championship 2 years ago in LSU. And you have a Raider team that is hot right now, which beat 2 playoff teams to start the season. And hopefully they can continue this moving into that game. So guys, jump on it right away. Josh Lafond with Simply Vegas Real Estate, the Lafond Group, Jose V, Straight Bet Sports, and Ian B. We're sponsoring this. We're hooking it up. Trust me, guys. We got some more things in mind, too. We might end up doing the giveaway live at a casino. We don't know yet. We're in talks with that. We got Dwayne Colucci, our good friend from Rampart Race and Sportsbook. He said it's there. If we need it, we can do it. So we're gonna see what we can do with Josh. But Josh, what else can you tell these people about this giveaway before we let you go tonight?
So it will be live. So I'll I'm gonna have the name and phone number on the raffle ticket. And if you're not watching or whatever it is at that time that you're doing, I'm gonna give you a call. I'm gonna give you a call regardless. Obviously, just say, hey, you won the tickets, congratulations. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm also however much I do, I'm writing the check, and then I'm also posting that on social media, so that way
people can see what you're doing.
Exactly. Well, they could see that it did go to the charity and everything. So I'm keeping that all in line, so that way everyone can see, and then do all the donations and all that. So.
And another thing too, Josh, obviously you're a realtor. You're our title sponsor. That is your job. That is your finance. That is your income. Do you have anything that people should know about right now? Any properties that you've posted recently? I'm going to give you that shot right now to do it. You're on the show. Hey, it's your bread and butter, my man.
Yeah.
What do you have out there right now that people should be excited about that you're trying to sell?
I would say, actually, you know what? Not that I'm actually trying to sell, but what I would say is if you're in the market of actually buying here in the next fourth quarter,
perfect.
It's the best time because it's starting to slow down. Things are starting to normalize. And what I mean by normalize is, kids are back into school. Families are, starting to settle down, picking up kids, and they're starting to stop moving, and they can't have enough time to go see houses unless it's on the weekend. So if you're looking to buy, now is the good time to buy, because hitting probably week 2, week 3 of January, people are going to start getting their taxes in. People are starting to, get their goals aligned, and then they're like, all right, I'm going to start buying. Then that's when it's going to start heating up. But fourth quarter is always the best time, just because holidays are up. So if you're willing to move during the holidays, best time.
Awesome,
so
man.
That's what I would recommend. So yeah.
Okay, from the professional himself. So Josh, we're gonna let you go now because I know you got to get going into late night. You got things to do. We appreciate you coming on the show though, and talking about the raffle. Before we let you go though, because we're gonna have you on at least 1 or 2 more times leading up to the raffle, just to remind people what's going on. But with that being said, let everyone know where they can find you if they're looking to rent, buy, sell, whatever it may be, anything that has to do with real estate. Let people know where they can find you, my man.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, if you're not looking to buy, within the next month, 2 months, couple years, whatever it is, check out my Instagram, since you're going to go there for the PayPal link anyways.
There we go.
Check it out. Follow me. You can also message me. I'll give any information that you want out. You don't have to use me. I love to be there for the people and give out information, give out tips, all that stuff. Yeah. So that's what I like to do. Is that, and if you don't use me in the end, I don't really care, because I did what I had to do, and I did it for basically you. So
see, and you and I had this conversation of about a few months back when some things happened. Remember, with certain people, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But you've even said, just because you don't buy from me and we're friends or we're this and that, doesn't mean I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to like you, whatever.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you want people to make the smart and comfortable decision that they're happy with, right?
Yeah.
And if that happens not to be with you, so be it. Yeah. But you would obviously prefer it to be with you.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, too, because sometimes people are like, oh, my mom's a realtor, or I have a best friend that's a realtor. Yeah, no problem. I'm no hard feelings. But they get to pick my brain and get the knowledge and see that, wow, like, he's very knowledgeable in this space. And if that opportunity comes up where they're like, oh, I don't want to use your friend, I'd rather have someone else. Oh, here's Josh's information. And it's happened many of times. I've had people where they're still saying that they're going to buy a house and never bought one, but they referred me 2-3 people.
Okay.
So
it works out.
Awesome.
No, it does.
Yeah,
it
works for you.
So, yeah.
Awesome. So, Josh, we're going to go ahead and let you go, man. We greatly appreciate you jumping on with us tonight for a few moments. Guys, jump on.
Thank you.
Hit him up.
Thank you.
Let's get this raffle going crazy. Tell your friends, your family, your girlfriend, your side chick, your side chick. Tell everyone. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. Joshua, we greatly appreciate you, my man. And thank you for sponsoring the show and continuing to be our support. We greatly appreciate you, my man.
Yep.
Now, Ian, before we let Josh go, because he's got to get going, there's a couple topics we want to get involved, right?
Absolutely.
A couple things that we want to talk about. But before we do so, before I let you jump into Justin Tucker, which we got a lot to talk about, Justin Tucker.
Absolutely.
I got to let you guys know who we are sponsored by as well. Our second sponsor, the homie, the barber, none other than Eric Navarro. Hit him up at Line Him Up by Eric on IG, Line Him Up by Eric, or 702-884-8138. He's coming back from finger surgery, guys. He's back to cut your hair. He's available. He's booking appointments starting this Monday. So if you're ready, or your kids need to get right for that school, for them school pictures, or you're going out next weekend, trust me, hit him up. You will not be disappointed. He's cutting out a 5-star barbershop, Once again, line them up by Eric from Eric Navarro, 702-884-8138. But Ian, Justin Tucker, we saw what he did this last week. The guy's the GOAT. I love Adam Vinatieri, but after what we saw from Justin Tucker, he's the GOAT. I know you had a few thoughts, a couple things you were bugging the hell out of me all week. No, I'm just kidding. But what are your thoughts on Justin Tucker and what he's done and what he's meant to the league so far?
Absolutely. So Justin Tucker is absolutely the GOAT. There's no question about it. He is the most clutch kicker in all of history. He's 16 for 16 on field goals in the final regulation, as well as he's never missed in overtime as well. He has a 90% rating, which is just absolutely insane if you think about it. When you look at like Gakowski and Vinatieri, who both are considered one of the most accurate kickers in history, and they don't even have past the 86%, which is crazy if you think about it. He is the definition of clutch. If you are about to win a game or you need that win, he's the man. He's going to hit that in. He's never missed within 29 yards ever in his entire career. What's crazy, though, he was undrafted. He wasn't even selected.
Undrafted GOAT.
Undrafted GOAT. He's going to end up being probably the most accurate, best kicker in all of history.
But it's just crazy when you watch this guy. It feels like he can make it from anywhere. Anytime he comes in, you feel confident. It's very rare that Justin Tucker comes in and you're sitting there going, oh man,
he might shake
why are we kicking a field goal? Like, and normally, I don't know about you, but when I'm watching the games and the announcers are like, he's 40 for 40 within the 40-yard line, I'm like, oh my God, don't do that. Because sometimes they end up jinxing them or they miss. With Justin Tucker, it's not that way.
It's a shoe-in, you feel like.
Exactly. They can throw that out there and you don't like, oh man, they're going to jinx this guy. You're just waiting for it to go in. I mean, 66 yards.
You're surprised when it doesn't. Like, I think the whole world was watching that 66-yard field goal, and they're like, this is going on.
And by the whole world, you mean the Detroit Lions fans, which all got their hearts crushed once again?
Yeah, they
once again.
Unluckiest fan base right now in sports, definitely. So it seems everything that can go wrong does go wrong for them.
The homie Goose Thomas from Let the Ball Bounce chimes in on Facebook here. He says, salute, 5-Star Barbershop. The homie Michael Joyner, that's the owner there. Big shout out to them as well. And he also says, he's still not a first ballot Hall of Famer. No kicker is. No kicker is a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's an interest. That's a conversation for a whole nother show. Let's be real. We can leave it at that. We all have our opinions, right?
He has more points scored than.
Correct, but if you want to throw that out there too, people want to throw Adam Vinatieri, right? People want to say Adam Vinatieri. If we're being real, and I've said this till this day, and I still believe in it. He, not Tom Brady, won those first 3 Super Bowls, if we're being honest, because Tom Brady needed that foot at the end of the game for them to win those 3 Super Bowls.
But he set up some pretty sweet ones.
He did, but still, we needed that foot, right? Yeah. That foot needed to come through for them to make that. So it's kind of hard when you put Adam Vinatieri and Justin Tucker. Tucker's got 1 Super Bowl, I believe. He's got 1 underneath his belt. But Adam Vinatieri's done a lot more.
Yeah.
But then we also look at longevity, right? Mm-hmm. Some people talk about it in the NBA or in the MLB. You play 20 plus years, whatever. Oh yeah, you got all these records and all this, but because you were able to play longer. Adam Vinatieri played till his freaking leg almost fell off.
Yeah, 25 years.
Right?
Insane.
I mean, talking about the guy had no more black hair left in his hair. It was all gray.
50, yeah.
Exactly. So Justin Tucker has done as much, if not maybe more, than Adam Vinatieri has, even though Vinatieri's got those 3 Super Bowls. I get that. You can't take that away from him.
If you take their career right now, Justin Tucker is on pace to eclipse him.
Goose still says not one kicker should be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Kickers win games. Nobody else wins more games than kickers. So,
and who scores more points than anybody in a lot of their history? A lot of kickers. So it's gonna be interesting when this Hall of Fame ballot situation comes around and things of that nature happen. But the whole first ballot Hall of Famer for kickers, that's a whole nother conversation for whole nother show. But you and I are in agreement, right? We think that he's a first ballot Hall of Famer now.
He's easily the GOAT, though.
I think he's the GOAT. I think he's the GOAT of kickers. I mean, obviously we have Morton Anderson, we have Adam Vinatieri. You could even think of about a lot of other guys. I mean, Matt Prater was good for a while. You had the Grammatica brothers, you know what I mean? But when it comes to longevity and consistency and doing it week in and week out, and on a consistent basis in your career, Justin Tucker is on fire right now.
Absolutely.
And the way that he can make these field goals so seamlessly and so easy, I don't know, man. GOAT status for sure it is. But moving on to the next topic, I wanted to let some things off my chest in a good way, right? Give some props to some people. St. Louis Cardinals being one of them. St. Louis Cardinals went on a 16-game winning streak. Now, a lot of people say, well, it doesn't really matter. They're fighting for the wild card. They're not really fighting for the division lead. You know what I mean? It's still tight there. There's no way they can get it. The Brewers have it. I get that. But they're beating teams that were also still in playoff races. They're beating teams that still had opportunities to get wild cards. They're not just beating up on scrubs. Someone mentioned the whole Cleveland Indians conversation when they won 22 in a row. I can't compare the two because if you look at Cleveland's record and you look at the 22 wins that they had, Cleveland beat a lot of teams that had losing records, that were garbage, that were nobody, that weren't even going to make the playoffs or weren't even fighting for the playoffs. So even though they had more wins overall with the 22 win streak when it came to the Cleveland Browns a few years ago, and the Cardinals only got to 16, they got blanked tonight. They finally lost to Milwaukee. I still think that what the Cardinals did is a lot more impressive than what the Cleveland Indians did. And the fact that they're doing it now, when we're right around the corner for that October baseball, means a lot more than anything else. So salute to the St. Louis Cardinals. Goose, I know you're a Braves fan, and they had the Braves in trouble for a little bit. The Braves are still going to run away and finish up that division. They'll be all right. The Braves will get that. St. Louis was hot. They got hot at the right time. I think this is a team that no one wants to see in the playoffs right now. This team gets in the playoffs. If this team ends up beating the Dodgers, if the Dodgers have that number one wild card, because we know they've already clinched it, they're 13 and a half games above that second wild card. Cody Bellinger striking out again right here on the screen as we see. The guy is garbage this year, even though he's been hurt. I know that. But it's one of those things where it's going to be interesting for this team. If they get there and they beat the Dodgers or the Giants, whoever has that one wild card game, do not sleep on them. I'm not going to say they're going to win the World Series. I'm not going to go as crazy as to do that. But if they get there and they do win it, do not be surprised. That's all I got to say about that. The next thing that I want to chop up real quick and just throw it out there, Anthony Joshua. For all of you boxing fans to say Anthony Joshua is the guy when it comes to the heavyweight division, he is the best fighter. This past weekend, Alexander Usyk proved each and every one of you wrong. This guy has now twice lost his 3 championship belts. Still hasn't had the opportunity to become the unified heavyweight champion of the world. You beat one of the Klitschko brothers to take the belts, which was your biggest fight and your biggest win of your career. You got schooled by Andy Ruiz. You figured it out the second time around and you beat him. For some reason, they did not make the Tyson Fury fight, and that backed out because of the money situations. I'm a big Deontay Wilder fan, but if we're being serious right now, Tyson Fury is the number one heavyweight pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in my opinion. Alexander Usyk, because of what he just did, is now the second best pound-for-pound fighter in the heavyweight division. Not only that, remember, Alexander Usyk is the last cruiserweight, undisputed, unified heavyweight champion in that division. This guy schooled everyone. Remember, thoughts of Roy Jones Jr. leaving the division he was in to move up to light heavyweight and beating people and still taking belts. This is what we are seeing now with Alexander Usyk. So remember, there's a new king right now. We still going to see this weekend, not this weekend coming up, 2 weeks from now, we're going to have the Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury trilogy. The winner of that fight has to fight Usyk, no doubt about it. There is nobody else in the heavyweight division right now that even matters, in my opinion. Anthony Joshua, you are now number 5 on that list. If I'm making the top pound-for-pound list when it comes to the heavyweight fighters, I have Tyson Fury. I have Alexander Usyk. I'll put Deontay Wilder in there. Maybe Dylan White 4th, but then I got Anthony Joshua right at the bottom. Because he's now lost the belts twice. He has now not been able to hold the belts when it's been against a former opponent where people were talking about him, right? So that was the other thing that I wanted to throw out there. Big shout out to Alexander Usyk, the new IBO, WBO, and IBF, I believe, is heavyweight champ of the world. Good stuff there, man. Great fight coming up in 2 weeks. I'm very interested to see that. Nick Diaz, hang it up, bro. You should not be fighting anymore. You smoke way too much weed as it is. You sound and you look punch drunk and high all the time. If you guys saw that MMA fight this past weekend, Robbie Lawler put him down. I thought that Nick Diaz would not win. I didn't think Nick Diaz had any right to even be back in the UFC after coming off of the couch after 6 years. Again, it's my opinion. I don't know it all. I may be wrong. Some of the people like Nick Diaz. You know what I mean? He's a great warrior. He's done a lot in MMA. We know that. He's no scrub, not putting him down by any means necessary. But I think at times you just got to realize when it's time to hang it up, right? But
definitely.
Big shout out there to the St. Louis Cardinals. Hopefully they can keep it going because I like to see good baseball and I like to see good stories in the postseason there. But let's move on, my man. We got some 3-0 teams here, Ian. Some 3-0 teams that are interesting to talk about right now, right?
Yeah.
We got the Raiders, which are 3-0. They beat the Ravens 2-1, Steelers 1-2, Dolphins 1-2, losing records. But they beat 2 playoff teams from last year, right?
Yeah.
That's one. You got the Broncos at 3-0, Panthers at 3-0, Rams at 3-0, and the Cardinals at 3-0.
Absolutely.
Out of all these 5 teams, call me crazy, I'm not surprised about the Carolina Panthers because of the schedule that they've had. Schedule that they've had. You beat the Jets, Saints, and Texans. The Saints were tough, but it's a division rival, right? So those division games are always
tough,
different.
Yeah.
Not only that, the New Orleans Saints didn't have 7 of their coaches due to COVID in that game. That changes everything.
Makes a huge difference.
Huge difference. Whether you want to say Jameis is Jameis and you don't like him because I don't like him and I talk a lot of crap about him, you also have to be real with it. And the reality is they were without 7 coaches in that game. But I think the Panthers being 3-0 is, in my opinion, I'm not surprised. I didn't expect them to be 3-0, but I expected them to have a winning record this early.
Yeah.
But who do you think is the biggest surprise team that's not legitimate?
That's not legitimate?
Yes.
Where are we talking about legitimate? Are we talking about playoff teams? Because to be honest, I think all of these teams have a possibility at playoff contention. Now, I think the weakest of these teams, call me crazy, but I think it's actually the Raiders. And I know...
Two overtime games. I can't disagree with you.
2 overtime games, but not only that, there are 2 overtime games against good teams that it really did come down to the wire. It could have went either way. The Ravens could have won that game early on. You saw what they did to the Chiefs, same type of situation. And then with the Dolphins, that you could almost call that uncalled pass interference for the long shot to Waddle, I believe it was, that set up the Raiders win there. So they could be really 2-1 or 1-2 if either one of those games went the other way. So I like the Raiders. I like what they're doing, but I don't know if they're there yet. Like they are Super Bowl contenders yet, or even
they're far from Super Bowl contenders. If we're being honest with you, I mean,
think they are pretty far away from it.
If we're being serious, the Raiders look good. They're 3-0, but they don't look great.
Yeah.
They still have a lot that they have to fix on defense, and they still have some things that they got to get right on offense. Let's be real. They don't know who their running back is. You're shuffling from Josh Jacobs to Kenyon Drake to Peyton. What is it? Peyton Barber last week, right?
Barber.
And it's like, who's going to be the guy in the backfield? Josh Jacobs has been very inconsistent, injury prone,
though.
and that's the problem. But he's supposed to be your bell cow. He's supposed to be your workhorse, the guy that you're supposed to go to. Derek Carr can only do so much. So if we're leaning on Derek Carr so much, when things start to go bad, that's when everyone's going to come back. Yeah. All the fans. Derek Carr's not the guy. Derek Carr is overrated. Derek Carr's not that great. We should have someone else. Let's get off the Derek Carr's not great bandwagon and just leave him alone and let him play.
Good.
The kid is shredding it up. I think this was his first game with a pick. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think he might have 2 on the season. It's 1 or 2. He has 1,200 yards. He's carried the league up.
Insane. And no one expected this from David Carr to be early.
No.
And let's be real. If you're telling me that you expected the Raiders to be 3-0 right now, you are an absolute liar.
You're capping.
There's no way you thought Pittsburgh, and Baltimore, and you guys are 3-0 to start the season.
Yeah, you're definitely.
There's no way you're telling me that you thought the Raiders were going to be 3-0 to start the season at all.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Derek Carr looks pre-leg injury. Derek Carr.
Correct. He looks like
for the
that
first
guy.
time since the leg injury. I think he actually looks healthy.
Now, the team that I think is fool's gold out of these teams that we mentioned is the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos have beat 3 teams that have a combined record of 0-9.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
0-9.
Yeah.
So for all of you that think Teddy Two Gloves is the answer and Denver's great and they're awesome and they're going to do everything, you've beat 3 teams that are 0-9. Overreaction to say the least, right?
I think Broncos in their division, I think it's between them and Chargers, actually. I like the Broncos. I like what they're doing. Not only are they shutting these quarterbacks down, and yes, the 2 rookie quarterbacks, and Daniel Jones, who knows if he's actually good or not. That's up for a different
Danny
topic.
Dimes. That guy is
Danny
it's time to move on from Danny Dimes. I'm telling you.
Exactly. But they are pounding the rock. They are constantly running it. I think all 3 games they've been running about 20 or 30 times, and they're doing it by committee. So you got Melvin Gordon that actually looks healthy again, which is insane. It's been a while since we've been able to say that. But not only that, their defense is smothering these guys. Not just winning by a little bit here and there, but they said this about the Eagles in 2017, that they were only beating bad teams, and that's why they looked so dominant on defense that year. But aren't good teams supposed to absolutely shred bad teams? And that's what the Broncos have been doing. So it's not like they're 3-0 against a 0-9 combined record, and they looked bad doing it. They've looked really good. And not only that, Teddy Bridgewater, he's reading what the defenses are giving him. He's taking what the defenses are giving him. He is throwing almost 70% of his passes complete. And
so wait, you're sold on the Denver Broncos? Honestly,
I think they're playoff. I definitely think they're playoff.
3 games in, you think they're playoff after beating 0-9 teams?
They're Bronco. The defense is elite.
Okay.
Even with Bradley Chubb being banged up a little bit, nobody's really running on them.
Were you drinking before you came in tonight?
No, I was not.
Because I disagree with you highly. I'm sorry.
Really?
I think that the Denver Broncos, out of all the 3 teams that are undefeated right now, are fool's gold. I think that when the schedule gets going and they start playing some of these teams that are a lot tougher and not 0-3 and 0-9 combined, I get it. The defense is good. The defense is doing what they should do against these rookie, mediocre offenses in these teams.
Yeah.
And the offense is doing what they have to do as well. But I'm not sold on Denver. I think Denver's fool's gold. I think when it's all said and done, I would not be surprised if Denver doesn't even make the playoffs.
Oh, wow.
We've seen teams start off hot and early.
Yeah.
The Raiders were 2-0 to start the year last year. Didn't even make the playoffs. So, I mean, my opinion, I think that the Denver Broncos are fool's gold. I don't think they're a bad team. I just think that they're fool's gold.
We'll
they haven't beat anyone yet where I'm like, okay, this team is legit.
We'll see this weekend. They play the Ravens.
That's going to be a good one. That's definitely going to be a good game
If
there.
they win against the Ravens, then I think everyone's going to change their tune.
That's going to be a great one there, man. And these topics obviously were brought by you. You were bringing them to me this week. You know, I want to give credit where credit is due. I was sitting there going, what are we going to talk about? What can we bring up this week, right? And you're like, bro, 3-0 teams. Some of these are legit. Some of these are not. And it's a good topic of conversation because everyone is talking about the undefeated teams. Yeah. It always works that way, right? Everyone is always watching it. Okay, this team is still undefeated. This team is still undefeated until it gets to that final team that's undefeated, right? Who's going to go undefeated? That undefeated is always the conversation. Who's going to catch the Dolphins? Is anyone going to do it? Is anyone even going to catch the Patriots at 18-1? You know what I mean? Can that even happen? You know, now we're thinking of what? We added the extra game, 20 games, right?
Yeah.
Is anyone going to go
games now? Yeah.
19-1, 20-0? You know, is that going to happen? I don't think we're going to see that happen right now. I don't think it changes that much because we removed the preseason game and we added a regular one. So it's not going to be that much of a difference overall, but it's going to be fun to see what happens moving forward with these 3-0 teams. Absolutely. And to see who's legit and who's not. But
look at the Steelers last year, 11-0, and then they lost last in the next 5 games. So.
Steelers were hot and then disappeared, man. Definitely that. Once again, you are tuning to Straight Bet Sports here live on the Gorilla Cross Radio Network. I am your host, Jose V. EMB in the building with me. Joshua Lafond was here shortly. hanging out with us, talking about the Raider giveaway. Remember, we are giving away 2 Raider tickets to the Cincinnati Bengals Raiders game on November 21st. If you want to know all the details, they will be on my page, Jose Volonte, Straight Bet Sports on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We will be posting all of that so you guys can check it out and win some of these tickets. $10 gets you in. You can buy as many tickets as you want. Not only that, it's going to a great cause. All of the money, every single cent, every single dime goes to the programs for school. So trust me, Josh will be posting it out there. He'll be proving it to you guys. We're not keeping a dime. So hopefully you guys can help us out with that. Help us raise some money. Not only that, hopefully win these tickets and go enjoy a game and have some fun out here in Las Vegas. But Ian, says we're talking about local sports and we're talking about Vegas, I was at the Golden Knights game last night. We had 2 events going on last night, right? We had the WNBA Las Vegas Aces semifinals, game 1, taking on the Phoenix Mercury, which was a great game to say the least. We're going to get into that one here shortly. But I was at the Golden Knights game last night, right? And I got to give a big shout out to Garrett Calloway, media relations guy over at the Golden Knights. Been 2 years since I've been credentialed to a game. Not complaining, not talking crap, but I appreciate the fact that I was able to get back to one. Got to hang out, enjoy the game, but obviously cover the game as well, right? Sit with some media in the press box, chop it up a little bit, have some good conversation, and hear different points of view from different people right now. The Golden Knights had a lot of other young stars on the ice. Robert Leonard, their starting goalie now, was not in. They had their backup, which he did phenomenal first period. Looked a little shaky second and third. Knights still pulled off the W, came through 4-3 with the final there to get the win. High-scoring game, high-scoring affair. Over and under was 6. If you guys were looking at, Golden Knights were minus 170 in the game. They ended up pulling it off and covering it. Didn't cover the puck line if you're a puck line better, but doesn't matter. They still pulled off the victory. But I like what I'm seeing from this team, man. I'll be honest with you. They had some of the main guys, Marchessault, Pietrangelo, some of the main guys that are going to be playing on this team starting, that are going to be on the starting lines, play last night. They also had a lot of the scrubs, if you want to call it that. No disrespect to any of these guys, but they looked great. They looked good. They looked passionate. They looked like they were into the game. And it looks like the Golden Knights are establishing themselves as a team that not only are they going to be solid, but they're going to have a solid roster all the way around.
Yeah.
Because you can't just go off of your main starting line and what you're going to do with that. You got to make sure that you have guys that could come in throughout the game and continue to give you more of that play that your starters are giving you. And I got to give credit to the fans. Preseason game, the fans still showed out. The atmosphere, it was electric. It felt like a playoff game. I felt good to be back. But do you think the Knights are going to be a team to be reckoned with this year? They have been every single year since they've been in the league, since their inception, going to the finals year one. Can we finally see them get all over this hump and finally make some noise and possibly win it this year?
I think so. I like their depth. I like the fact that they were driving to the goal constantly. Like the whole night they were fighting for the crease.
The puck all night.
Yeah, exactly. And the one thing I will say is the goalie situation kind of is a little bit off. Fleury obviously is not with the team anymore. But I think this team all around is really good depth-wise. I think they're passionate. I think they're well-coached. And I do think that it's going to be hard getting over that hump, though. We've made it to the semifinals a couple times. Like it's going to be hard getting over that hump, I think.
Well, last night, Laurent Brossoit, that's his name. I was looking it up. That's the backup goalkeeper. That's going to be their guy. That's going to be the backup. There's no more, Malcolm Subban. We don't have any of that anymore.
Yeah.
It's no longer Fleury and Robin Leonard.
That was
so it's going to be interesting. Here's the thing. Someone asked me this last night. What do you think about Robin Leonard? The fact that he's the guy now and we don't have Fleury anymore, right? And my quick response was his health. His health. 100%. When he's healthy, we know who he is.
Oh,
Superstar, starting goalkeeper, all-star. We know what he can be. He is a number one guy in this league. We know that. And that's why the Golden Knights brought him in. They saw the opportunity to bring in a number one guy. Having a number one guy that was already on the decline. Even though he was the number one goalie last year. You know what I mean? But he's older.
Yeah.
He's not that young guy that's going to give you another 5, 10 years on the same team of consistency. We know that. It was tough letting go of Marc-Andre Fleury. If you're a fan of the team, because there's a lot of people in Vegas that are Golden Knights fans and not necessarily hockey fans, so they fall in love with players, right? Absolutely. So the fact that Flower is now gone, it sucks. It's tough. I get that. But again, if Robin Leonard stays healthy, health is the biggest key to this season. I like what I saw from Broussard last night, but at the end of the day, how much and how long can Robin Leonard stay healthy is the big question. Moving on, the Las Vegas Aces, like we said last night, semifinal, first game. Second year in a row during the semifinals, right? Last year they got swept in the finals against Seattle. Seattle's a tough team. We know that. But this year, the Aces are a completely different team.
They are.
They played hot throughout the year without Liz Cambage. She came back late. Kelsey Plum, unbelievable. Should be the 6th woman of the year. No doubt about it. What she has done, averaging 20 points off the bench.
Yeah,
when she's been a starter her whole career. I wasn't there last night, but I got people and friends that were there last night at the game. The house was packed. Michelob Ultra Arena was jamming last night. Williams went off last night. You texted me last night, bro. She's on fire right now. Are you watching this? Do you think that the Aces can get it this year? I keep saying it year in, year out.
I do.
I think this is going to be the team that's going to bring a first championship to Vegas, a first pro championship. They were down big in that game. They adjusted, came back and won. It's the best of 5. Whoever wins 3 first. Does the Mercury win a game in this series? I think the Mercury can get one. But at the end of the day, 3-1, I think Aces get this.
I think they do too. I think that it's really a tale of two halves almost, because they made great halftime adjustments. They were trailing the whole first half. They were having trouble getting Plum involved, as well as Gray. And Williams was going off, but Plum only had 5 points, and then they made their adjustments. I don't think they trailed the entire second half. Plum went crazy in the third and fourth quarter. She had 21 points in 20 minutes or something like that. It's absolutely insane. Like you said, 6th woman of the year. And I think the Aces, or I think Mercury can get maybe a game here or there, but I do think the Aces go back to the finals this year.
It'd be nice to see them back in there. Not only see them, but hopefully win it. So big shout out to the Aces. They'll be back in action this Thursday night, 7 p.m. at Michelob Arena for Game 2 of the WNBA semifinals against the Phoenix Mercury. They got Diana Taurasi, the Black Mamba of the NBA, if you guys know that's what they like to call her, and Skylar Diggins-Smith. If you guys know, oh my God. I said it to my buddy from Heatwave Sports, Tim Unglesby. Big shout out to Tim Unglesby and Heatwave Sports. I told him, Skylar Diggins, man, that's my girl. That's my girl, man. But should be a fun game Thursday night. And then Friday night, the Golden Knights are back at home against the Kings for another preseason game. So if you guys are in town and you're not leaving the city and you want to watch a game or you want to go catch one, you got 2 good things coming up the next 2 days. But Ian, we got about a little over 10 minutes here. We got to jump into some NFL talk though, man.
Absolutely.
We're not going to be able to get through every game. Obviously, we know that, right? But we got to give our picks of the week, which we're going to talk about later. I know your pick went through. Freaking Raiders weren't the greatest for me, even though they did win the game. We're going to talk about that later. But let's talk about some of these games that are going on. Okay. We got to break it down by the most important games, right?
Absolutely.
Or at least the games that we see that are more important to talk about more than anything, right? Now,
impactful games.
One of the biggest games of this weekend is the afternoon game. It's not a night game, but it's an afternoon game. You have 2 3-0 teams. Someone's O's got to go.
Yeah.
You got the LA Rams taking on the Arizona Cardinals in LA at SoFi. Matthew Stafford is doing what he was brought to LA to do.
He's on fire.
Win games, be on fire, and plug and play with his offense. The defense is still doing what they have to do. They're solid. No disappointments there. No complaints. Now, the Arizona Cardinals started off hot on defense in the first game. I forgot his name, but he had 5 sacks in the first game for the Arizona Cardinals. Thank you, Jones. 5 sacks in the first game, right? Second game, they give up all those points to Minnesota. It looks like the Vikings are going to beat them, but yet they pull off that game. We see glimpses and sparks of a possible MVP-style play in Kyler Murray, right? But then we also see some of those times where we're like, what is he doing? It's kind of scary. I'm not going to give you a side on this game. I'm not going to say who's winning. I like the Rams, but I'm not going to give you a side. The line is currently -5, over and under is 55. I'm going to touch the over. If I'm looking at this game and I'm looking at both of these offenses and I'm looking at these defenses, I think both defenses can be exploited on Sunday. I really can see that because of the mobility of Kyler Murray, because he can move around in the pocket, and because he's so small. It's a lot easier for him to elude some of these defenders. And what we have on the outside on wide receivers on both ends.
Yeah.
You got Kirk and you got Hopkins, right? For the Arizona Cardinals. AJ Green now too, right? You bring in a veteran like AJ Green that can ball out as well. And then you got Cooper Kupp, you got Robert Woods, even Deshaun Jackson on the other side, Jared Cook at tight end. The backfield has been decent, even though they haven't had a solidified number one guy with Cam Akers going down early in the season. They've still been solid to get that. I just think overall, the LA Rams have a little bit more offensively and defensively.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I'm not going to choose a side. I'm going to say it's a high-scoring affair, and I like the over in this game.
Yeah, I definitely like the Rams. I think it's going to come down to who's the better coach, to be honest.
Who outcoaches who?
Who outcoaches who? Because Kyler's going insane right now. He's throwing like 4 TDs, but like 1 pick every game, rushing for 1. And then you got Matthew Stafford, who's just looking like the guy most people always knew Matthew Stafford to be. He's clutch. He's throwing.
The guy.
He's not used to Deshaun Jackson, but that's going to grow throughout the year. You know, he overthrew him early in the game against the Bucs, and then he hit him for that long touchdown the second time around.
So who do you think wins the game? If you don't have an opinion, you don't have to.
I don't like the line. I like the Rams though. I think
so. You don't like the line, but you like the Rams win the game.
I like the Rams win the game. Just like you said, I think just personnel wise, they're a little bit better, and then I think they have the better coach.
And then it's at home. If it was in Arizona, then I can possibly see the flip of the switch there. But
they're playing well. It seems like LA weather is agreeing to
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford. He's enjoying himself.
So let's talk about the other LA game that's going down technically this weekend, right?
Yeah.
We got Sunday, we got the Rams playing at home. Then we got Monday night, we got our Las Vegas Raiders going down to LA, taking on the LA Chargers. Mm-hmm. Chargers coming off a big win against Kansas City.
Yeah.
You and I were having this conversation earlier. I had Kansas City going to the Super Bowl, but now it looks like Kansas City is not that team. Their defense can't seem to stop anyone. Patrick Mahomes can't seem to get hot at the right time. Let's be real. Started off slow in that game.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he trusts his receivers the
Right?
same after the Super Bowl.
And why, though? Why would that be is my question. You should trust these guys because we know what you have in these guys, and you know what you've done and what you've accomplished with these guys.
Maybe
Now,
because he hit them twice in the face and they dropped it.
this game is interesting. We have another 3-0 team in the Raiders playing a team in the Chargers, which I said was going to be pretty good in this division this year. And I have Justin Herbert as my fantasy quarterback. He's been solid for me so far. He's been decent. I think this is where the Raiders get exposed. I think this is where the Raiders go 3-1. I don't see the Raiders winning this game. I can see this being a very close game. The line sits at 3 right now.
Yeah.
The books don't want to move off of that. They don't want to drop the hook. They don't want to put the hook. They want to stay there. They want to stay at 3. They think it's a field goal game. I see this being a high scoring affair. I don't see defenses being a part of this at all whatsoever.
None.
But I think the Chargers, after winning that game in Kansas City and coming back home to play another division rival, which is 3-0, and you can take that at home, give me the Chargers in this game.
Yeah, I like the Chargers. I think I was wrong. I thought that Justin Herbert was going to decline a little bit. You got rid of his QB coach. You got rid of his offensive coordinator. You got rid of his head coach. I thought he was going to decline a little bit. I'm sold on Justin Herbert. I think he's an elite quarterback. And
elite, okay.
You can't argue it. Right now, he's, I think, 3rd or 4th in passing yards, and he's averaging like 65% of his passes. So he's doing really well, especially as a second-year quarterback. I think they get exposed. I think Raiders get exposed. I think Chargers run up a score, honestly. I like the line, actually. I think that Chargers win easily by -3.
So we got to mention this game because it's the highest game on the board right now. Normally, you see a double-digit favorite, you're scared. You run if you're a betting guy.
I love it.
You're like, oh, my God, I want the opposite. Give me the points. I love it. I'm going to have a chance to cover this. The Buffalo Bills are playing the Houston Texans, which Houston has a win this year, which is crazy.
It is crazy.
They are currently a 17-point favorite with 59% of the money being bet on them currently, right?
Yeah.
I like this game.
I do, too. I think a lot of people are going to be scared by that 16.5. or 17.5, but I like them. They've not only blown out these teams, but who do the Texans have? I mean, they're playing Davis Mills, and the thing that really stands out to me, Davis Mills didn't even look better when J.C. Horn went out.
Okay.
Like, they lost their star cornerback, and he still wasn't able to move the ball down the field. The team as a whole still looked dead in the waters. So I don't think they're going to have any success against a healthier, better team than the Panthers. And I think the Bills blow, I don't know, maybe 43-0.
Damn, okay.
I think they blow them out. I think that the Texans might get a score or two.
Texans will be lucky to get a field goal.
Yeah,
but look, man,
it's going to be rough. It's going to be a rough day for Davis Mills.
We got 5 minutes, right? And we still got to give our picks of the week before we end the show. So real quick, 30 seconds. We're going to go off of these two games, these final two games that I want to talk about. Bucks, Patriots. Tom Brady going into New England. Line is currently 6.5. Tampa going against a rookie quarterback and Bill Belichick. I see Tampa covering this game. I like Tampa. I think Tom Brady comes back to New England and says, hey, I still got a lot left. You guys didn't know how to keep me. Here I am. This is what you lost. Give me New England. Give me Tampa Bay. What do you like in this game?
I might be completely wrong. I know I'm one of the few people that actually like this. I think New England covers this game. I think Bucks win. I really do. But I think New England covers this game. I think Mac Jones, he had a bad outing, his first bad outing. Belichick's going to correct that. He doesn't allow his quarterbacks to have repeated bad games. And the Bucks are banged up on secondary, like really, really banged up on secondary. And it doesn't look like they're getting a lot of their players back anytime soon. I think Mac Jones is deliberate enough where he can actually put some points up against this Bucks defense, and I think New England covers this.
Okay. Final game, Cleveland Browns. I wanted to talk about that. Cleveland going into Minnesota. I have buddies that are texting me saying that if the season ended right now, Kirk Cousins would be the MVP. If we're talking about statistics, Kirk Cousins is probably the best quarterback in the NFL right now, 3 weeks in. If we're talking about statistics, I'm not talking about what you've seen. I'm not talking about tape. If we're talking about statistics.
I don't know about that.
This line sits at 1.5. I know Cleveland's defense is great, but what I've seen from Minnesota in the last 2 weeks, I think they can pull it off. Call me crazy. I like Minnesota in this game. Again, these aren't our picks of the week. We're just giving our thoughts on these games. Final thought on this game, 30 seconds before we give our pick of the week.
I think Browns actually, this is their coming out party. This is where they show that they're not just a fluke. They're a legitimate playoff contention team. This team could potentially make a deep run in the playoffs. I think they put their stamp on this game, and I think Cleveland Browns do it all.
All right, man, there we go. Jose V, EMB, Straight Bet Sports here live on the Gorilla Cross Radio Network. We have come to the end of our show. We're running out of time. Big shout out to Manny Pacquiao. He's finally retiring and calling it quits. Only 8 division world champion ever. Again, opinions are opinions. My opinion is he is one of the GOATs, and he is higher on the GOAT status than Floyd Mayweather. Call me crazy, but that's just me. No disrespect to Floyd Mayweather being undefeated, doing what he did. I just still think that Manny Pacquiao had the more glorious, better overall career, and his fights were a lot more exciting and entertaining to watch. But with that being said, Ian, give me your pick of the week. I had the Raiders -4 last week. They decided to let Jacoby Brissett for some reason score a touchdown and take that game in overtime, which I don't know why, but it happened. So I'm now 1-2 on the year. You're 1-0 to start the season because
I had the Titans last week.
You had the Titans last week. What's your pick of the week this week? Let everybody know.
I like the Chargers. I'm going to stick with that. I think the Chargers cover by -3. I think they probably win by 7. I think that's what it's going to be.
So the Chargers is your pick of the week.
Chargers is my pick of the week.
All right, so let's see. What am I going to do this week, guys? I have 2 plays here, right? But only one of them is going to be my pick of the week. You guys know me. You know that I like to look at money. I like to look at numbers. So there's 2 people that are going to love me for this one. Actually, 3. 3 people are going to love me for this one that I know. My pick of the week, with only 29% of the money, and they're playing at home, give me the San Francisco 49ers minus the 3 points. I think the Niners are going to bounce back. I think they win this game against the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not sold on Seattle. Sorry, Melissa Ferris. I know you're a big Seattle Seahawks fan. I'm not sold on that team whatsoever. I like the Niners. Even though they lost to the Packers, it's Aaron Rodgers. He's going back to the Bay. He's from the Bay. He played out there. It's understandable. Things can happen. Emotions are high. It's only one loss. The Niners are not in a bad position whatsoever. I still like Jimmy G. Love Deebo Samuel. Love what they're doing there. I love the head coaching staff. Defensively, they're a good team as well. Give me the Niners. Way too much money on Seattle. Even though they're on the road, it should not be this much money on this game whatsoever on the opposite side. I like the San Francisco 49ers in this game. Give me the Niners minus 3. Bonus pick, if I'm going to sprinkle one in there, my bonus pick this week is take the over in the Raiders-Chargers game, 52.5. I can see that game skyrocketing over. But that's it, man. We're done for tonight. We had a fun show. Great time as always. Ian, I appreciate you being in the studio, my man, chopping it up with me as always. Big shout out to Joshua Lafond for coming in tonight, our title sponsor. Big shout out to Eric Navarro, our other sponsor from Line 'em Up by Eric. Make sure you hit him up. Line 'em Up by Eric on IG. He's back this Monday cutting for each and every one of you that want to get your cuts. Ian, any final words, my man, before we go?
No, let's have a great week of football.
You going to make some money, though?
Maybe.
I hope so. I'm going to have to get you down to the book. I'm going to have to get you down to the book, man. But
I'm going 16-0. Let's go.
What? You're going to go? What are you going to do? One of those 16-0 final plays?
Yeah, maybe.
Really?
I don't know. We'll see.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Really?
Yeah, we'll see.
Are you going to bet this weekend, though?
Probably not.
Why not?
I don't usually bet.
Well, you got to. You got to start. The name of the show is called Straight Bet Sports. So we got to get you to start betting, man. But, hey, that was a fun show, man. We had a good time. We greatly appreciate you guys. Again, remember, Straight Bet Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can catch all of our content on there. GorillaCross.com, the Gorilla Cross app, and anything that you missed on YouTube, Straight Bet Sports. You can watch our video from the show from tonight or any previous shows. Apple, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, all of that stuff. You can find our audio as well. But once again, for Jose V, EMB, Quan59, Gorilla Cross Radio, Straight Bet Sports, all of our sponsors, Joshua Lafond, Eric Navarro with Line 'em Up by Eric. We greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Enjoy your football tomorrow. Thursday Night Football is right around the corner. Should be an interesting game tomorrow night. And NFL Sunday is a few hours, a few days away. So enjoy it. Have fun if you're off. Enjoy yourself. Be smart. If you drink, don't drink too much. If you go to the casinos and you drink, don't drink and drive. Make sure you grab an Uber or grab some friends to hook you up and take you home. But once again, this has been another episode of Straight Bet Sports here live on the Gorilla Cross Radio Network. I am your host, Jose V. Till next week, we are out. Peace.
Easy to dream a dream, though it's harder to live. They gon' love me for my ambition.